Dr. Yaya.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I do apologize, you guys, for Monday. Monday, I was busy, quite busy, having a few difficulties trying to get here, but I'm here now. I am here now, and it's time to get down to business. It really is. Check me out on www.askdryaya.com. Would certainly appreciate it. But listen, ahead of time, I need you guys to know, because you know what I do. I give you 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense. But I want you to understand that this subject on tonight is triggering. It's going to trigger some things in you, around you, through you. Apparently, this is the topic of conversation that has been happening for the past few days, based on, I guess, someone, Danny Lee or Lay, or however you pronounce her name. I guess her song has triggered a lot of talk, as it were, about colorism. And she is literally being dragged, and apparently rightfully so. Hey, bro, how you doing? I love you too. So let me start by saying we are going to unpack some things. We're going to get active. We're going to see some things. And remember, with everything that's going on, and what I'm about to share with you, we don't drag people over here. We are critical thinkers. We may drag your ideology and your thought process, how you present a certain thing, but we don't drag people personally. So with that, we are going to get active, and we are going to unpack some things. So this morning, I received a voicemail message on the Ask Dr. Yaya line, and this message was from a woman who had asked me if I had found her email, if I had uh, found her email, if I had read her email, and because I guess she had sent it some time ago. And like I always share with everyone, we get a ton of emails, and Raquel goes through them as quickly as she possibly can to make sure that your email is presented on the show. And so I received this message on the line, and she says, listen, I sent you an email, and I'd like for you to read it and get back with me. I want you to know that I enjoy your show. I want to talk about my views on colorism. I need to discuss how I feel about colorism in the community. And I thought that was very interesting. Like I said, this seems to be a hot topic. And so I asked Raquel, I said, Raquel, I need you to find this particular email. And so the fact that she called and she left her name, and I'm not going to give her name here due to the fact that I don't know if she has social media, and people might try to find her and have certain things to say. But I called her back. How you doing, Jolanda? It's good to see you. Much love. How you doing, Vet? Good to see you. Good evening, Jay Monroe. Glad you could join me. So Raquel finds the email. I returned the call. I returned the call to this young woman, and I say, we got your email. You asked me to call. What can I do for you? Now, this is what we discussed before I get to the email. I'm going to tell you about this phone conversation, this conversation. And so she says, listen, I thank you for calling me back. I enjoy your show. I watch it. I love the topics. I love how you give a certain perspective and a different perspective on it. And I want to tell you my view about colorism in the community and why I feel it's a necessity. Now, of course, I was taken aback. because I had not heard this before. And she said, I believe that colorism is a necessity in that community. And so I asked her to call in. I said, do you think you can call into the show tonight so we can have this full discussion and let the people hear? And she said she wasn't really ready to do that because of judgment. And I explained to her, I said, anytime you put yourself out there with any idea, it's open to judgment. Regardless of what it is, it's going to be open to judgment because people have their own thoughts and their own ideas, and that's the way it should be. But she wasn't ready. I get it. I understand that. So she went on to mention that she thinks colorism is necessary for the Black community. And I asked her why. And the first thing that she said to me was, well, you really wouldn't understand that because, and of course, you guys, I don't get right. You may be scared to stand on her convictions, Big Hill. And when she said this to me, I didn't get offended because there's not anything that really offends me, really. So my mind doesn't move like that. But she told me that I wouldn't understand because I am not a dark-skinned Black woman. So there you have it. She said, well, I respect you, but you wouldn't understand because you are not a dark-skinned Black woman. I said, but I am in the community, and you said it was good for the community. I need to know why you feel like that. And she said, my perception of colorism is going to be different from hers because I am light-skinned. I get that. I understand that. Okay. I understand it. I get it. It's not lost on me. Okay. It's not lost on me. Hell, I was never called paper bag brown until I moved to the South. Okay. So I get her perception will be different from mine. I understand that. She shared with me that there was a time that she went through what she called a phase of bleaching her skin. Yes, skin bleaching is a thing, of bleaching her skin to become lighter. And she said what turned this thing around was that it didn't change, and this is interesting, it didn't change the color of her daughter because she was pregnant. She said although her skin lightened, her daughter still came out dark. I don't know how you guys want to handle that, but we're here to have the discussion like we do. Now, to lay the foundation, right? Yeah, paper bag brown. That's what I was called. Say, ooh, you paper bag brown. So I never heard it before till I came to the South. So here we are, you guys. So you know what I like to do. In order for us to all be on the same page, we have to know the same thing that everyone else knows, because that's how we do it. So we're going to look at the definition of colorism. Colorism is the practice of discrimination by which those with lighter skin are treated more favorably than those with darker skin, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial background or group. Okay? So that's what colorism is. Just so we know, I know most of us know what it is, but you know, over here, we like to lay a foundation that no one is lost and doesn't have a clear understanding. So speaking with her on the phone, I said that we would find the email. We found the email. And it was quite the discussion. And I'm going to give you more of this discussion after I read this email. You guys ready? I'm ready. Dear Dr. Yaya, I do enjoy your show. I will start by saying that this email will be quite long. Sorry about that. I am a dark-skinned Black woman, mid-50s and average. 4 children, 2 are light-skinned, 2 are dark-skinned. I give you this information because I think colorism is good for our community. Let me say why. Everyone has a place in society. Ugly women don't win pageants or be models. Ugly men don't get the sexy, fine girl. And that's life. Our community doesn't like the reality of this. We say things to make people feel good instead of telling the truth. When I was little, my grandmother told me that I have to like the one who likes me because I wasn't as pretty as my light-skinned cousin. This hurt my feelings, but she was right. I learned to use the good that I have and not focus on trying to be something I'm not. Are lighter skinned people more accepted? Yes. Do they can better? I think she means, do they get better opportunities? Do they get better opportunities? Yes. Why deny what is a pure fact? It is the way of the world and society. If my skin were more desirable, I would have had better men. Does this mean that I hate my skin? No, but I do realize that if I was light skinned, I would look better. If we as Black people begin to understand that we are different and not equal, we wouldn't fight. We fight because of jealousy instead of accepting what is. And she signs off with her name. That is the email. Yeah, Kim. I'm looking too. I'm looking too. It's so much here for us to have this discussion. Whew. Okay. Now, finishing the conversation that I had with her on the phone, that was the email. She did say, and as a side note, you guys, I want you to like, share, comment this video. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. So what she did say earlier is that she did bleach early on and she stopped. Now in this email, she said she loves her skin. Okay. We'll just say that at some point she didn't love it and she wanted to be lighter and pretty like her cousin. She found out that that wasn't going to happen and she has become totally accepting of who she is. Now, I certainly understand that she has accepted whatever whatever she has decided about herself. She has accepted that. That's on her. Big Hill says it sounds like self-hatred and social conditioning bias. That's what it sounds like. But I'm not going to judge her and say that she hates herself. So I'm just going to say that she has accepted the fact that she is not going to change her skin color. Now, I think most of us accept the fact that we cannot change our skin color. We accept that fact. That's not something that we're just going to get up and do. I also accept the fact that most of us do not want to change our skin color. Okay? The issue that I have, and it's not so much with her, because it is conditioning that takes place in our community. And you have to find yourself within yourself to be able to accept where you are in society, in your life, and more importantly, where you desire to make yourself whole and happy. Okay? So my issue is that she feels that it's needed in our community. She says colorism is good for our community. I have a when I tell you, I have a problem with that. And on the phone, I tried to explain to her that this is not something that we need or something that is good for us. This is causing a lot of division, not only in our neighborhoods, but in our families. Your own grandmother told you that you better love the person that loves you, honey, because you ugly. You're not like your cousin. Your own grandmother told you that. This is causing, you said it hurt your feelings. This is causing division. And what she stated to me was that, yes, it did hurt, but I've accepted the fact that she's right. So you accepted the fact that your grandmother told you that you were mediocre and to just accept any man that wanted you because you could not do any better than the person that was choosing you. And you want that for our community. You want that for the little boys and girls coming up, growing up, living in our community that just, what do? We just sit them on a shelf, right? We just sit them on the shelf and say, you know what? Don't kick and scream. Whoever comes by and picks you up off that shelf, you ought to be grateful. That's what it sounded like to me. That's what it sounded like to me. And I could not convince her otherwise. I could not convince her. She said, you're right. This is what's causing division. So if you just accept your place, she said, if you accept your place, then it won't be any fighting. That's her thing. That's what's going to solve all the killing. That's what's going to solve robbery. That's what's going to solve everything that's going on in our community if we accept our place. Big Hill says, yeah, right. We need to discriminate against each other because of skin tone. Really, right. Like that's going to really help. She said, if you accept your place, then it's not discrimination. When I tell you guys, I have never heard anything like this in my life. Never have I heard someone within our community state that, put up a case for colorism. I've never heard that. This is the first. But the other thing she shared was that she's not the only one who thinks like this. And that she's judged because she doesn't see that where there's anything wrong with accepting your place in our community. She said people have to accept their place in society and globally. So in our community, it shouldn't be any different. That this is how it should be. This is a thing that, if you just go ahead and lie down and accept the fact that your dark skin is not globally attractive, then you'll be better off, because then you'll know where your place is and how you can thrive. I'm using her word, how you can thrive in your situation. Don't try to look like Rihanna, right? Try to look like and be in your place. And then that way you won't envy Rihanna. It was, you guys, when I tell you this conversation is wild. She said, we fight because of jealousy instead of accepting what is. That's what she said. Yes, that's very small-minded. And so I said, so if I have, she stressed that she had 2 dark children and 2 light-skinned children. And I said, so what do you tell your children? She said she told them to accept where they are. She let the her light-skinned children know that they're going to be more accepted and to accept and honor that privilege. She told the darker skinned ones that they have to work harder and everyone's not going to like them. But that's okay. They have a place too. I don't understand it. I just really don't understand it. And when I talked to her, when I said, well, this sounds like, and someone else may say this to you, this sounds like self-hate. She said, I don't hate myself. I just accept myself the way that I am. Yeah. I said, but ma'am, do you know who you are? I mean, do you, what are your perception of yourself has got to be, I mean, listening to you, it's got to be through the roof. It's got to be like amazing, this amazing perception of yourself where you say, you know what? I'm average. That's how she started off her email, her confession, as it were. I'm dark skinned, mid 50s. I'm average. 4 children. Didn't get the best of men because of my dark skin. And she's accepted that. And she apparently lives her life accepting the fact that it's okay for our community to have colorism, because that's just the way of the world. And God didn't give you the skin color to be favored, and he didn't give you that at all, because in her mind, light-skinned people get better opportunities. They get the better pick of a mate. They get better jobs. So you just have to live with that. With the hand that you're dealt, you have to live with it. And once our community accepts it, then we're all going to be okay. That's her thought. We're all going to be okay if you just accept the fact that this is what it is. And I said that is really not a healthy way of of viewing yourself or the people in your community. So I asked this question. Y'all know me, I like to dig deep. I said, since you totally accepted that colorism is needed and good for our community, do you treat light-skinned people differently? Right. Kim say she dang near white and still single. Okay. Right. If that's the case, if you get the better mate, then there's some struggling going on. So, right. Aaron says, across all cultures, darker skinned people are persecuted and discriminated against. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. And she says, this is good, though. This is good for the community. And so she answered my question, and it was quite an interesting question. I'm hoping that she'll come on at some point and really speak to me on the phone about her views and her thoughts. So I said, do you treat dark-skinned people differently? And she said yes. She was very honest in what she had to say. She said yes, she does. She treats dark-skinned people differently from light-skinned people. And I said, do you think that is right? And she said yes, because she has accepted. She has accepted that this is the way that it is, and it's not going to change. That was how she felt. Hey, how you doing, Chris? It's good to see you. So again, I have not had anyone say anything like that. Do you know what? I'm going to open up the phone lines. Does anybody want to call and comment on this situation? Because again, she's thoroughly convinced that there's absolutely nothing wrong with colorism. Absolutely nothing wrong. She said she was a dark-skinned Black woman, mid-50s. She said there's nothing wrong with it. Accept it. It is what it is, basically. This type of thinking really affects the community as a whole. Here we are with our darker hued brothers and sisters struggling because they're being called everything from monkeys to dogs to untouchables to, I mean, just really, really being dragged all over the place, all over the world, all through these industries, the music industry, the movie industry, beauty industry. All of these things are happening to dark-skinned people. And we have a dark-skinned woman saying, grow up, accept it. It is what it is. Quit crying. Accept the fact that you're black and ugly. Accept the fact that no one wants to be bothered with you and find your place. Get in where you fit in, basically, is what she's saying. That's an issue. That's an issue. And thoughts like that really kill our community. And it's really going to hurt our children, because this is what she taught her own children. She has 4 children. We read that. She says, have 4 children. 2 are light skinned, 2 are dark skinned. So apparently she teaches her children that this is okay, that this is a thing that you do, that this is how this is how you're going to be treated, and you have to accept this because this is the way of the world. And if this is the way of the world, then you just, why do you expect to be treated any differently? And even if you don't, even if, listen, you guys, even if this is the way of the world, and even if you don't get treated any differently, and even if you have to continue to fight over and over again, keep fighting. What are you going to roll over? Keep calling people out on their colorism. Call out your grandmother when she says that stupid stuff. Oh, girl, you know, they'll never take you. You too dark. I love you, Nana. But listen, I am what I am and who I am. People don't want to have these type of discussions. People don't want to say anything. When colorism starts, it usually starts in your home first. It's usually what people are saying to you first. Absolutely. Absolutely. Otho says, grand day, we create what we see, do, and act. So as you say, our own blackness starts at home. It absolutely does. But no one wants to say anything to your auntie and to your uncle and to, you know, your grandmother when they say, you know, these things that people are so used to hearing when they're young. Don't stay out in the sun too long. You're going to get too dark, right? They say things like that. You don't want to get too black, right? Oh, look at her. Oh, she has such pretty skin. Oh, don't get her out in the sun. She'll turn black. There are even people who would look at the ears of babies to tell you if they were going to be light skinned or dark skinned. Hill says, I wonder, does she employ colorism on her children? Yes, she does. She stated that in our conversation, that she certainly tells her children that they're different and they're going to be treated differently, and to accept it and to fall in line. This is a sad day for the community, because if she's not the only one who thinks like this, then this is going to continue to be perpetuated no matter what. Just because you may treat me poorly because of my skin color does not mean that I have to accept it. Doesn't mean that it is something that I absolutely have to do. I have to roll over. Otho says, happy my familia doesn't do this. The same with me. I have not experienced this in my family at all. Now, there are other things that I did experience. That my father was misidentified as a Caucasian man, because we understand that back, people were passing. I have some relatives who back in the day were passing and things of that nature, or could pass. But I had not experienced personally. And we have different yous in our family. I have not experienced personally me ever calling my darker skinned cousin an animal name, or even saying anything crazy to them. But apparently this happens. And I know since I've moved to the South, it happens a lot, a whole hell of a lot here, because I hear it out and about. I would hear it. And that is not appropriate. Again, I have never heard someone who thought colorism was good for our community. Never heard of that. Didn't know that at all. But apparently this is a real thing. Apparently so real that she had to leave a message. She had to leave a message to tell me to find her email, because she wants it read. Oh, she warns them about what society may do, but does she treat them differently because of their shade of blackness? I asked her that, and she said that she could not tell me that. I'm quoting. I said, do you treat your children differently? She said, I can't tell you that. So for me, for me, I wondered about that. I wondered about that. It's wow. Yeah. It's this was a very good topic. This was a very good topic. I mean, this is something, usually when we discuss colorism, we discuss it in a way that we say, how do we deal with colorism? And the only way to deal with colorism is to deal with it in your household first. You better start calling out your relatives first and foremost. Right, Big Hill, that's a yes. Cosmic Energy says, I heard it and learned early having nappy hair was bad and meant I was stubborn. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had not heard that before. I had never heard that before. Never heard that before. But I've heard other things that were said to people. And it's interesting that you bring this up, Cosmic, because this brings to mind more details of our conversation when she stated that it's no different from women wearing weaves or wigs. She said, if you accept that and you don't accept your natural hair, however it is, she said, it's the same thing. She felt that it was the same thing. If you can accept wearing somebody else's hair on your head and being cute, and you can accept the fact that colorism is a thing, and therefore accept that as well. That's her premise. Her premise is that it's not going to change. But so if you can accept weave and wig, that's not your real hair, then you should accept colorism. And I told her that we're not, let's not bridge continents. Okay. Because at some point you can take the weave out and the wig off and grow your hair. Okay. So she was quite adamant about it. At some point, again, I really want her to call in and just have this discussion. Otho says, I think parents do have a favorite child, but they don't say. Treatment of a child based on skin shade is the big problem. Yes. I have two sons. I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite child at all. I don't have one, but some people do. I hear that some people do have a favorite child. I don't. But I hear that some people do, and some people exhibit that. Some people exhibit that. I know I've heard one of my own family members say that they have a favorite grandchild. So, you know, some people do things like that. But I want to share this. I wanted to share this email with you and share what I could of this conversation with you, because it was quite the interesting conversation. Again, I've not heard someone in our community say that we should accept colorism. That's an issue. That's a problem. It's not an issue that she accepts it. She can accept it all she wants to. Again, the issue that I have is the fact that she believes that it's good for our community. That's the problem I have. Look, if you can accept colorism all you want to. You say you're a dark-skinned, average-looking woman. If you want to be treated like poo, that's your business. But I don't think that you should be telling our community that it's okay. It's okay for you to be told that your lighter-skinned cousin looks better than you and you're not going to amount to anything. I don't think that's okay. It is not okay. But what you desire to accept is on you. But let's not teach a generation to accept being stepped on because of their darker skin color. Let's not do that. That's the issue. I think you did your children a disservice. I think when we tell our children about colorism, it should probably be in the light of this is what it is, and not this is what it is, and accept the fact that you're darker than your sister and therefore you suck. What? Is that what? No. Again, like I said earlier, you guys, I've never heard this before. Y'all know this is real for me because we into 40 minutes. Y'all know I don't do 40 minutes of anything, okay? So I'm going to leave this right here. Maybe she'll give us a call back. Maybe she'll come on live and discuss from her own mouth why she feels the way that she feels. I'm looking forward to it. I'll certainly try to convince her. And again, I thank you for being with me, for hearing me, for sharing this with me, for unpacking this with me. And remember, you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye now.